Hello friends, about 70% of the friends who watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would be very happy if you did. Also, don't forget to press the like button and leave your comments. Your interaction makes the content reach everyone and contributes to the growth of the channel. Thank you all. From which country or city do you follow the channel? I used to think I was ready for anything. I've wandered through abandoned hospitals, snuck into sealed military bases, even spent a night in a ghost town. But nothing. Nothing has left a deeper scar on my mind than this name, Letchworth Village. Just a short drive from New York, this place was once a psychiatric institution combined with an orphanage, a facility accused of conducting unspeakable experiments on children. It was shut down decades ago. But people say, not every soul inside ever truly left. One night I received an anonymous email. No subject line, just one sentence. If you really want the truth, come to Letchworth on a dim moonlit night. But remember, you must follow the rules. Something inside me stirred. It wasn't about views. It wasn't for fame. It was something deeper, like a part of me already knew this place. That's when it all began. No cell signal, no way back. Just me, a flashlight, and a list of strange rules written in faded ink on a torn piece of paper. Stay with me until the end. And if I never make it back, burn this tape. I still remember that night, a chilly autumn evening with wind creeping through the cracks of my windows and a sky painted in a dull shade of ash gray. I was drafting a new script for my next video when a new email popped up. No subject, no sender, just a single attachment, Letchworth map.jpg. I opened it. A hand-drawn map of what looked like a vast compound surrounded by woods, several decrepit buildings, and a red circle scrawled around one particular spot, room 17. Beneath it, in smudged, rushed handwriting, were the words, "Want the truth, come. But don't break the rules. No one survives if they stay past 2:47 a.m. A chill ran down my spine. And yet, I couldn't look away. As a content creator who explores abandoned places for a living, I've received plenty of so-called ghost bait, desperate attempts to go viral. But this felt different. I searched Letchworth Village. Dozens of articles, grainy black and white photos, and disturbing EVP recordings from paranormal investigators flooded my screen. Older newspaper clippings mentioned neuro experiments carried out on children at the facility between the 1920s and 1950s. No anesthesia, no supervision, no formal records. Just kids who vanished from the system. The deeper I went, the more I felt like something was pulling me in. And then I saw it, a photo. A black and white image of a boy staring blankly, clutching a torn doll. My heart stopped. That boy looked exactly like me when I was younger. I have no memory of ever being there. But something about that picture rooted me to the screen. A note, TXT file attached to the email, contained one last line. If you go, bring a flashlight, an analog watch, and whatever you do, don't go alone. I laughed nervously. Don't go alone. I've been alone in the dark for years. The next night, I packed my gear. Flashlight, camera, that printed map. As I drove through the overgrown back roads leading into Letchworth, my phone signal dropped to 0. My GPS blinked, then went completely dark. My watch ticked to 2:13 a.m. I had no idea what I was walking into. All I knew, if I don't make it back, someone needs to know what really happened at Letchworth Village. I parked near what was once the administrative building. It had no roof. The walls were rotting away, covered in creeping vines and graffiti, but one section, oddly enough, was untouched. Inside, the air was thick, not with dust, but something heavier, like moisture that didn't belong to this world. I walked slowly down a narrow corridor, my boots crunching broken glass and dried leaves. That's when I saw it. A message scratched into the wall with something sharp. A broken key, perhaps. Maybe a fingernail. Follow the rules. Break them, and you become one of us. Underneath the words were 5 carved symbols, tally marks crossed out. I kept walking and eventually found a weathered corkboard hanging by one rusty nail. On it, there was a torn page pinned down with something dark and sticky. A single list. The rules. Written in all caps, faded ink, but still readable. I paused when I read this. It was the same room circled on the map. Underneath the rule was a handwritten warning in different handwriting: if the door opens by itself, pretend you didn't see it. That line made my skin crawl. The note continued, "Do not listen. The voice knows your name. If you hear her say it, it's already too late." That one felt familiar. Asking invites them in. They want acknowledgement. They need permission. Don't give it to them. I reread this one twice. Do not speak to it. Do not touch it. It is not lost, it is waiting. This was underlined multiple times. Mirrors are not reflections here. They are doors. And some don't close behind you. My hand was trembling. There were smudged fingerprints across the bottom of the page, like someone tried to tear it off or grab it in a panic. Suddenly, the hallway light above me flickered once. Then again. Then off. I pointed my flashlight toward the corkboard. The list was gone. I swear it was just there. But now, there was only the rusty pin and a few drops of something dark trailing down the wall like tears. That was the moment I knew these weren't just warnings. These were instructions for survival. And I had just entered the game. The further I went into the building, the less it felt like I was walking through a place, and more like I was walking through a mind. I entered what used to be the children's ward. The hallway was narrower here, the ceilings lower, as if the place was trying to push me back. The walls were stained yellow with time. Crayons still clung to the plaster drawings of families with no faces, stick figures with sad eyes and tall looming shadows with arms too long. Then I saw it. A small door with flaking blue paint just barely ajar. A child's room. Inside, dust hung in the air like it had nowhere else to go. There was a rusted bed frame, a cracked mirror, and beside it, a journal. A child's diary. Water damaged. Pages stuck together. But some were still legible. I flipped through it. The handwriting was uneven, like someone trying to write while crying. They said the needle would help. But Timmy didn't come back. And now we can hear him under the floor. My fingers tightened around the cover. There were tiny indentations on the page as if pressed by trembling hands. But I remember the table, the wires, the cold voice counting backwards. I remember something being taken from me, but I can't tell what. I heard something. A soft knock, 3 taps, from under the bed. I froze. Slowly I crouched and pointed my flashlight underneath. Nothing. Just an old stuffed rabbit, its eyes missing its fur, stiff with grime. I stood up. But the mirror. The mirror was no longer cracked. It was whole again, clean, shining. And in it I saw something behind me. A boy. Pale, thin. Standing in the hallway. Head slightly tilted. Eyes black like 2 holes burnt through paper. I spun around empty. No one there. But now. The diary was open to a page I hadn't turned to. I was outside the door, watching. But it wasn't me. He had my face, but not my eyes. He said, "You left us here." My heart pounded in my chest. And then I noticed it written in the corner of the page, almost too faint to see "Welcome back." I stumbled out of the room. The hallway stretched longer than before. The drawings on the wall were changing, shifting as I passed them. Stick figures now had bleeding eyes. The long shadows, they had faces, and they were smiling. The flashlight flickered. My watch still ticked. But my hands, they were shaking. Because deep inside, something in me recognized this place. Not from a video, not from research, but from within. These weren't just echoes of other children. They were fragments of me. I didn't mean to go near it. I'd read the rule. I'd felt the weight of it. Rule number 1. Do not enter room 17. But by the time I realized where my feet had taken me, I was already standing in front of it. The hallway was different here, longer, darker, somehow quieter. Even the air tasted metallic, as if something had been breathing through the walls. Room 17's door was old and swollen with decay. It looked heavier than it should have been. But the strange thing was, it was open. Just slightly. Just enough to tempt curiosity, or welcome someone back. I don't remember touching the handle. I don't remember deciding to go in. But the next thing I knew, I was inside. The room was cold, Not like outside cold. Like the air had never been touched by warmth. It was bare. Cement walls, rusted restraints bolted to the floor. A child-sized metal chair stood in the center, lit by a single flickering bulb that swung slowly though there was no breeze. On the far wall, a phrase had been scratched into the concrete over and over again: I won't forget. I won't forget. I won't forget. Blood had dried in thin, dragged streaks along the tiles, and in the corner, a mirror, cracked, framed in rust, but not reflecting me. No, what I saw inside the mirror was a boy strapped to the chair. He was shaking, crying, looking straight at me. And then, he stopped, looked up, and smiled. "You're late," he said. I stumbled backward, nearly falling. My flashlight flickered violently. The bulb above popped, sparks hissed down like rain. And when the room went dark, I heard the sound: chains tightening. Not on the floor, not in the corner. On me. I ran. Or at least I think I did. I don't remember leaving the room. I don't remember how I got back to the hallway. But when I checked my camera, there was a new video. One I hadn't recorded. It showed me standing perfectly still inside room 17. Eyes wide, arms hanging limp, and someone else just behind me. Taller, shadowed, reaching toward the back of my head with a scalpel. And then the screen went black. But not before one last whisper was caught on the mic. "We kept a piece of you." I should have left. I should have run. But something inside me wanted to know what they meant. What piece, and worse? What if I had never left room 17 at all? I ran. I didn't care where. Just away from room 17, away from the whisper. Away from the thing behind me in that reflection. My boots echoed down the hallway, slapping against wet, cracked tiles. Turn left, then right, down a stairwell. I passed the same peeling poster 3 times. Be good. Be quiet. Be healed. No matter how far I went, I kept ending up in the same hallway. The same dead light bulb flickering. The same stretch of wall with a crooked Ward B sign dangling like a broken jawbone. At first, I thought I was just disoriented. Old buildings loop. But then I noticed. The writing on the walls was changing. Where there had been drawings of children's faces, there were now blacked out eyes. Where there had been faded crayon rainbows, there were now smears, handprints, small, blood red. One wall had a single word scrawled in charcoal: "Stay." I touched it. It was still warm. I checked my watch. 2:47 a.m., same as earlier. I tapped the glass. Nothing. I checked my phone. 2:47 a.m. Camera screen, 2:47 a.m. Every device frozen, just like the rule said. If your watch stops at 2:47 a.m., find a room with no mirrors and stay there. I looked up. A mirror, hanging at the end of the hallway. Except, I couldn't see my reflection. Instead, I saw myself walking toward it. Slowly. But I hadn't moved. I turned and opened the first door I saw. It led to another hallway identical to the one before. Same cracked floor. Same lights. Same stains on the ceiling tiles. I opened a second door. Same thing. The third time I bolted through without thinking. But the air shifted heavier, colder. The walls were pulsing slightly now, like the building was breathing. I passed a window and looked outside. Only blackness. No trees, no stars, no moon. It was as if the asylum had lifted off reality and was floating in some dark pocket of forgotten time. My camera pinged. A new video. I hadn't hit record. I played it. The footage showed me watching myself from behind a one-way mirror. I looked tired, mouth slightly open, eyes vacant. In the video, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a drawing, a child's sketch of a man with no face standing behind a camera. The video ended, and then a message appeared on the screen. "You've been here before." I gripped the walls, heart pounding. No sound, no air, just the hum, that endless hum like electricity or breathing or whispers between dimensions. I tried running again, but it felt slower this time. Like the floor was pulling me down with every step. That's when I understood this place doesn't want me to leave. It wants me to remember. Or worse. It wants me to become part of the loop. I don't know when the building started whispering. Maybe it always had. And I only just started listening. The air was different now, denser, almost chemical. It clung to my skin like damp fabric, and there was a low hum beneath everything. Not electrical. Biological. Something alive. Under the floorboards. I tried to trace my steps back, but the halls were shifting. Doors that had once led to stairwells now opened into old treatment rooms. Beds with restraints. Hooks with dried leather straps. Clipboards still hanging at the foot of rusted gurneys with patient names scribbled out in thick red ink. One clipboard still had a name visible. My name. Full name. Middle initial. Birth date. My knees almost buckled, but it got worse. Under assigned procedure, it read subject memory transfer. Phase 4 status reintegration pending. I backed away, hands shaking, mouth dry. How could this be here? I had never been to Letchworth. My head ached. My thoughts felt splintered. I remembered my apartment, but the details were blurry. I remembered starting the car that night, but not driving, not arriving, just being here. I stumbled into a chamber lined with mirrors, not modern ones. Old, tarnished, warped. Some were shattered, others fogged over, and one showed something impossible. Me strapped to the same chair I saw in room 17. My eyes were wide open but dull. My mouth moved, whispering something over and over. I leaned in closer. The voice was faint, but I heard it. You were always here. On a metal tray in the center of the mirror room was an old tape recorder. I pressed play. The static cleared. Then a voice. Monotone. Clinical. Subject shows signs of denial. Full memory suppression intact. However, recurrence patterns are accelerating. A pause. Recommendation. Begin reintegration. Click. Behind me, one of the mirrors cracked. A thin fracture ran straight through the reflection of my face, splitting it in two. Half terrified. Half smiling. A door opened. On its own. No sound. Just a sudden release of pressure like the asylum exhaled. Inside a chair, a table, and a wall covered in photos. Me. Different versions. Different expressions. In one photo I was much younger. In another older. In all of them I was in Letchworth. Standing, lying, screaming, silent. I dropped to my knees. This place didn't trap me. It created me. I wasn't the visitor. I was the constant. And somewhere behind the walls, I could hear the old recording repeating again and again, subject ready for next cycle. Initiate memory wipe. Beginning again. I woke up in my car. The keys were still in the ignition. The dome light was flickering like it had been on for hours. My mouth was dry. My hands were freezing. I was parked at the edge of the woods, right where I'd first entered Letchworth Village. It was morning now. Birds chirping, sunlight burning through the mist. For a moment, I felt safe. Then I saw the clock. 2:47 a.m. It was still 2:47 a.m. My analog watch frozen, my phone battery drained. The sun in the sky wasn't warm. It just looked like it should be. I drove back to the city, past the welcome sign, parked in front of my apartment. Same door, same hallway, same key. But something felt off. The hallway was too quiet. The mail in my box hadn't changed. My neighbors' doors were all closed. Inside my apartment, everything was exactly where I left it. Except for one thing. A tape recorder, sitting on my kitchen table. I never brought one with me. I hit play. The tape crackled, then began playing a voice. My voice. Subject shows signs of re-entry. Testing reintegration stability. Memory inconsistencies persist. Another voice, one I didn't recognize, followed. Then let him believe he made it out. Click. Silence. I stumbled backward. In the mirror above the kitchen sink, I caught a glimpse of myself, or someone that looked like me. But there was a faint scar just beneath the hairline. One I never had. I ran to the bathroom, yanked the light on, pulled my hair back. The scar was there, fresh, sutured, hidden. My camera had one file left, a video I didn't remember shooting. I hit play. The footage showed me standing in room 17, calm, facing a wall lined with monitors. On each screen was a different version of me, screaming, laughing, crying, silent. Some looked much older, some barely human. I was watching myself from somewhere else, monitoring, or maybe I was being monitored by me. A message faded into the screen at the end of the clip trial number 38, partial reintegration. Inconclusive. Begin again. That night I tried to sleep, but the moment I closed my eyes I heard it again. The lullaby. The soft, cold voice, whispering from the vents, from the mirror, from inside my own head. You left us here. And in that final second, before I lost consciousness, I realized I don't know if I ever left room 17. Maybe the asylum let me go. Or maybe it just made a version of me that thinks I left. And you watching this right now, how do you know you're not still inside too? If you found this story valuable and interesting, please hit the like button. This really helps us bring you more good and valuable content. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think, what questions you have, or what topics you would like us to cover next. We love hearing from you. Of course, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our next stories. Thank you for taking the time to read my stories.